What was your reaction when LeBron answered a question about, LeBron, what are your plans for tonight? Well, actually, I'm not playing.
I'm good. I'm going to be on the sideline. No, I'm not putting on a uniform. No, I'm not posing with my teammates. I'm gonna act like I'm the coach. I'm gonna act like I'm the Pee Wee coach, and these are my guys. Like, I think it was shocking, but it was not surprising. We all know LeBron's all-star participation, obviously over the years, has waned. I think he won the MVP in Chicago.
Yeah.
I want to say in
No,
20.
Kawhi won the MVP in Chicago, I think.
Which one did he hit the step back?
That was in Cleveland, I think. He did the step back in Cleveland.
Okay. I thought, I just think and I get it. He's like, listen, I'm through playing. I'm not trying to win another MVP. I'm through playing major minutes in this thing. I'll just come out there, give a little reverse dunk, show y'all what I would have done in the dunk contest 17, 18 years ago if I had entered, but I never did. But other than that, I just think his heart isn't there. So he shows up Sunday morning or even Saturday night. Who knows when he got into San Francisco. But then it just dropped the nugget that, hey, I'm not playing. It's a disservice to guys like Norman Powell, who was there, who participated in three-point contest. He could have given his roster spot to somebody else. It was, but it's not surprising. I mean, if he didn't want to play, he doesn't have to play. Anthony Edwards didn't play. Giannis didn't play. But then just let people know. So, but I think this is kind of LeBron making his statement on the weekend. Like, he's not going to come in and go out quietly.
Yeah, I was wondering, because we're going to get to Anthony Edwards in the last segment, but I was wondering, Gary, if the way that he did it was a protest in some way, was a way for him to disassociate himself from the process of the entire weekend. Like, maybe he didn't agree with the Rising Stars going in and playing a game and 2 separate games or whatever it was. Like, I wonder him not being in uniform, like not trying to decode him, but I feel like that was a message. I just don't know what the message was.
Yeah, I agree. That could have been him saying, hey, Adam, I ain't with this. And this has got to change next year. If he plays, he'll be an all-star next year. So if you want me to participate in LA, in my not home city, but the city which he plays, you're going to have to do a little bit better than this. I mean, there's a lot of issues about whether the Rising Stars should have been in, but the players got to blame themselves.
Yep.
Don't have a game that has 397 points and like 200. The winner has a 211 points. I mean, it's embarrassing. Like, play hard for a quarter and a half. We're not asking 4 quarters. We're not asking playoff intensity. We're not asking Rodman against Bird. We're asking play a quarter and a half to where you don't feel like you want to go out there and get embarrassed. But hey, Steph, shoot that 30-footer. I don't care. Like, SGA, just go to the rim. Like, come on. Like, we all know. The crowd is dead because there's nothing to cheer for. I think we're all over the whole watching guys do uncontested dunks. They're pros. We want to see competition. Will that ever happen? I think there's going to have to be, as you know, Vinny, some type of incentive, and it starts with a dollar sign.
Unfortunately, Gary, I don't think that would fly anymore. Like, there's always this resentment because the athletes make these exorbitant numbers. The numbers are going to go up anyway. Like, they're worth every dollar. You get what you can negotiate. I ain't mad at that at all. I think you wind up playing into the cynicism of fans if, like, that's the only incentive. I think, Gary, what people have tried to tell us over the past few days, like Steph kind of alluded to when he won MVP, he was like, I forgot exactly the quote, but the quote says something, Gary, to the effect of, not thinking about what the All-Star game used to be or something like that. Almost kind of disassociating, like, well, it's not going to be competitive anymore type of thing. And my friend, David Dennis, our friend David Dennis of ESPN's Anscape, he was on Twitter saying the All-Star game has never really been competitive, is only, 2001 and 2003. And it didn't take me long, Gary, to go back and remember 87's game went into overtime in Seattle, the Tom Chambers game. The 88 game might have been the best game ever in Chicago. Michael Jordan scored 40, Magic, Isaiah, like everybody was there. '93 in Salt Lake City went into overtime, like Karl Malone and Stockton. '97 wasn't like a competitive finish, but it had like a big comeback, and Glenn Rice, had scored like a record 21 in the third quarter. Like it was something that people could wrap their arms around. And even modern day, remember LeBron in 2012, I think it was Orlando, Gary, where he wouldn't take the shot against Kobe Bryant, and Kobe was fussing at him, the whole time, like, come on, do this. Like, what I mean? Like, it was a national toxic ass discussion that we try to pretend like those things didn't happen. And it's just not true. Like you said, it doesn't take much to entertain people. Just try. Like, don't insult people's intelligence. Just give them something to invest in.
I agree. I mean, I have the Steph quote right here. He says, I don't want to compare it to any other era because the world has changed. Life is different. The way people consume basketball is different. It's not going to look like it used to, but it can still be fun for everybody. I think I had fun. Our team had fun. That's kind of all that matters. So, like, I think he is right about the way basketball is consumed. He is right about everybody has League Pass. It's not a big deal. Someone talked to me and said, like, it used to be that when you saw the All-Star game, you were watching players from the other conference you did not see very often. Right. This is before everybody could buy League Pass for $100. I used to get a kickoff as a kid, and that ended years ago, is when every player had on his own individual warm-ups. So you would see, not the uniform. I hated that. I hated that. I hated have the All-Star uniform, East or West, but when they had all the colors of every team next to each other lined up for the national anthem. And it was like, that was cool to see everybody in their own particular warm-ups. Like, that's a great point, Gary. Everything is so sponsored. You got All-Star warm-ups sponsored by this person. All-Star, here's a new All-Star. Like, if you want the fans to help design if you want to get fans engaged, have them maybe choose the uniforms or something like that. Like, it's just to the point where the NBA is mixing corporate and then wanting to be serious. And Vinny, we've been to many All-Star games. Sunday, these players are tired.
They're wiped out.
They get in Friday or Thursday, sometimes Friday morning. They've got marketing commitments from their shoe company, from their clothing line, from their sunglasses. Like, I drove by when I was going to the hotel Thursday morning. There was a big space occupied for Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's clothing line or something. Like, he's got to be there. Dudes got to do their sponsorship stuff. They bring their families. So Mama and Tay and Uncle Ray is asking for tickets. Can I bring this person? Where are we going to eat? All that.
Right. It's a lot of that.
And then Saturday happens. They go to this practice. Then they go to the Saturday night. Then they go out. I mean, these dudes are in the streets. Let's be honest. They're going to the shoe company party or whatever. Then Sunday, so it's an anticlimactic end to the weekend. It's like, damn, we got to play. Some of these cats literally play Thursday night. Like Tyler Hero played Thursday night in Dallas. So did Kyrie. Or I think Kyrie took that game off. He played Wednesday. All these, I mean, you're asking them to play a high-level game at the worst part, the end of the weekend. And at that point, you either, one, have to add to the rosters and have extra guys play to take some of those minutes, and two, have some type of financial incentive. And at this point, we all know how popular the in-season tournament went because of that $500,000. So if that's what get these dudes going, and as much as we don't want a dude who's making $63 million a year to be playing hard for $1 million, that's the world that we're in. Like, it is what it is.
No, that's a good point, Gary. Like, Steph Curry had a bunch of events, we're hanging out late at night. We see guys in certain places, and we don't have to get up in the morning and prepare for a game. Like, it's the corporate sponsorships, like you said, I won't say it's gotten out of hand, but that's the reason it's the biggest moneymaker, because all of this corporate people put a lot of money into the NBA, and they want to have their guys making appearances someplace, and basketball takes a backseat. And that's unfortunate. There has to be a middle ground. Maybe it's nobody plays on Thursday, right? Like, Thursday's a TNT game, and you lead it into All-Star. TNT's not going to have the games. The All-Star weekend, you know,
You could do
NBC's going to
one,
have it.
maybe. Literally, there was 5, and I know with the postponements, maybe that affected things.
Yeah.
With the Fires, there was 5 games, like a third of the league played on Thursday. Like, if you're gonna have this, and then you're gonna have it in San Francisco, it's far for a lot of guys. Or you're gonna you got games in Dallas. You know, I mean, you've got games probably on the East Coast. It just takes a lot out of guys because you're not playing. You know, it's just to me, it's a long flight. You got to get in your hotel, all that. Then here come the commitments because everybody wants to get something in Friday. I mean, Jaylen Brown literally went to Oakland to do his to meet with the city about having a business, open up a business education office. Then went to McClymonds High School to help dedicate a court to Bill Russell, who went to, obviously, that's Bill Russell's alma mater. So that was Friday. You know, then obviously I'm sure he gets out. Then Saturday's the practice. Then Saturday night. And then Saturday night they want to, then after All-Star Saturday,
You want to hang out.
They want to hang out. These guys are human. And then their friends want to hang out there with them. They're people. These guys aren't going to bed early and drinking warm milk and getting ready for the All-Star game. They're going to be out till 1, 2 in the morning. And they're going to go back and then then it's like, okay, get up. And they might even have a commitment Sunday morning before the game, right? So it's just asking a lot because we've made it this huge convention. We've made it this carnival, and the players are the acts. And then we're asking them to play hard minutes when they're like, one, I'm not trying to get embarrassed. I'm not trying to get dunked on. I'll just let it doesn't make, there's no incentive. If you want to start doing the home court advantage for the winner of the,
no, I don't want to do that. I do not want to do that.
Baseball tried that, and that was baseball players. Eventually, they canned it. They didn't like that. Because obviously baseball went through the same thing 20 years ago where dudes were just BSing and stuff and didn't barely want to get an at-bat in. And then they put that up and all of a sudden the players are like, oh, wait a minute, this is too much on the line. So there's no perfect answer. Everybody thinks they have a perfect answer. Like, but as someone said, Silver seems real consumed with tournaments. Like, that
was hard, that quote.
Yeah, he's real consumed with tournaments. And the tournament style, nah. You're asking, first of all, playing to 40 is like for us playing to 5. Like, these dudes are pros, right? You're asking them to play to 40. That's too easy for them. You don't get enough exposure. Some of these guys don't get playing time.
They only got, I think Cade Cunningham from Detroit got 5 minutes.
Yes,
of playing time. He's on the young team.
You barely saw him. And then, the vets still want to play some. You're going to play Steph considerable minutes because he's playing at home, right? So it's just funky. And I get it. Silver has an open ear. He'll listen to new ideas. So I don't think he's married to this. But hopefully some heads can go into a room, some real smart guys and gals, and figure this thing out and have something where let's go back to East and West.
Yes, I'm going to say this. And I want y'all to hear me. I'm going to pull a Stephen A. Smith. Pull the camera to me. Turn the camera to me now.
You look at Vinny.
No more Kevin Hart. I don't know what the NBA's fascination is. I don't know what white person says, oh, this is going to get the people going. It does not. That is not a venue where you have a comedian cracking on the players that you're trying to showcase. That does not make a lot of sense. I have no problem with the Bay Area. I had no problem with En Vogue, okay? Because I clearly like the ladies of En Vogue, especially as a young lad. You know what I mean? Raphael Sadiq, one of my favorites. E40, you already know what it is. Like, I like the entertainment portion of it. I'm not going to clutch my pearls because we just saw the Super Bowl where Kendrick Lamar did everything under the sun for 13 minutes during the biggest football game of the season. So miss me with that. But I'm with you, Gary. Adam Silver has his ear to the players. They clearly want this to work because they clearly keep changing things year after year. So for people who are saying it's not important, it clearly is important. And it's just unfortunate that the players, and I agree with everything you said about the players being exhausted, about there being too much activity and everything else. I completely agree with you, Gary. My solution, You have everybody come in on Thursday, do their obligations. After Saturday practice, we don't see the players. Like no sponsorships, no nothing. Let them get their rest for whatever's going to happen on Sunday, so they don't have the excuse of, man, I'm fatigued. No, you've got all your stuff done out the way early. My biggest issue is the players pretend as if they are the reason that they are able to make $63 million a year. You're not. You are standing on the shoulders of players who were never able to receive the money that you are receiving now. The players of today have made a lot of withdrawals on the game, and they have not made a lot of deposits. This game is for the fans. It's not for the media. It's not for Twitter. Don't cater to the mean and nasty people. I get that they are out there. I get that it's not pretty, but remember why you're there. And that's my biggest thing. The old guys never will receive the money that these guys get. They'll never see it. They never were going to see it. The least you can do, you owe it to the game. You don't owe it to us. You don't owe it to Adam Silver. You owe it to the game of basketball that has made you a millionaire multi times over.